अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा नाम साद बिन शाहिद है और मैं रेहान स्कूल में पढ़ता हूँ जो कि इस्लामाबाद में है और हमारे कैंपस का नाम RSF 8 है। आज का मेरा टास्क है कॉल कॉल विद सी सेम माया और टॉपिक हमारा है ओके। शुरू करते हैं बातचीत।
Hi, what's up?
हेलो माया।
I was just thinking about our earlier chat. What's on your mind now?
What and when you have okay?
Hmm. For me, okay feels like a bridge between people. It's that quiet, reliable nod that keeps a conversation flowing without much effort. It can be a shield when you're not open up. Or just a simple way to say you're still present.
Do you use okay daily? In what situation?
Yes, definitely. I use it constantly to acknowledge when someone has shared a piece of information or to signal that I am ready to move on to the next point. It's my go-to when things are running smoothly and we're on the same page without our talk.
Why do you think okay is so popular?
It's such a versatile, efficient tool that it naturally became the default shortcut for modern communication. Brevity makes it almost invisible, allowing us to move forward without getting bogged down in the form.
Is okay a positive word?
That's an interesting question because A-OK sits in the middle, feeling neutral and strictly positive. It acts as a baseline to show you're steady or that things are acceptable. You need to express excitement. It's that reliable comfort of
Can okay change meaning depend on tone?
absolutely the tone and context are essentially the entire definition of the word. But okay, we can forward bright ones, agreement or excitement. It's like a chameleon, whatever mood you bring to it.
Word originally
It actually is a humorous trend in 1830s Boston. People back then loved making intentional misspellings like all correct, which is where the term it was famous famously used for Martin Van Buren, whose name was Old Kinderhook, helping across the country. While there are plenty of other fun theories about where even Native American groups, that trend remains widely accepted explanation.
Is it true that orchids start at a shore ambition?
It started as essentially a abbreviation for all correct that gained traction as a joke in 1830s Boston newspapers, eventually becoming a massive cultural phenomenon.
Then, or historically,
Historically, it is most widely accepted as a human spelling of all correct, rendered as old. This was part of a large trend of witty spelling in the 1830s, where people would abbreviate phrase to be funny. The term really gained its massive foothold at the campaign slogan for Martin Van Buren during the 1840 presidential election, which is truly cemented itself as a soul of American English.
how did orchids separate around the world?
The global spread of OK was driven by the telegraph, which required short, efficient signals for clear, rapid communication across long distances. Once it was established as a reliable, convenient shorthand, it gained massive momentum through the global press of American military personnel. After that, the massive influence of American media, music, and film really solidified it as a universal term. A local joke from Boston became the most recognized word on the planet, isn't it?
Why did it become more popular than other words?
Boiled down to a perfect storm of simplicity and cultural ubiquity, because it was easy to pronounce short graphs and appeared in it just became the most efficient to signal agreement. Other came and went, but okay, had the momentum to stick.
How is OK used differently in different?
Its meaning really shifted. Well, it's generally under agreement, the gesture associated with it can actually be. For instance, while it is widely recognized as a sign of approval in the U.S., that's can be seen as a insult in countries like Brazil or Turkey. It's a reminder that even when a word or symbol travels globally, it often picks up local meaning and completely flip its intent. It makes you wonder how many other simple gestures we assume are universal are actually elsewhere.
Or other similar word in Urdu or other language?
It is fascinating to see how culture has its own version of that simple nod. In Urdu, you have K, which captures that same sense of things being or settled, and she most often are fit to mom, which is incredibly versatile for confirming just about anything. Interesting how even with words, the underlying need for universal signal of agreement remains everywhere.
Can okay replace full sentence?
Absolutely. Casual conversations, a simple okay does the lifting of a much longer, complex sentence. Acts as a complete unit of meaning, signaling segments, or even closing a topic without needing a single extra word. It's the ultimate efficiency hack for when you want to acknowledge each other and keep moving.
Is okay formal or informal?
Okay. Usually it sits on the informal side of things, making it perfect for chats rather than a formal board meeting. That said, it's so common now that it often slips into semi-formal emails or work discussions without feeling too out of place. Be more precise. Professional though, you prefer words like or understood.
How does language change the meaning of okay?
That's where it's really nuanced because simple nod can turn an okay into a sign of agreement or a polite way to end an uncomfortable conversation. When you add a shrug, for example, it signals indifference or even a bit of uncertainty, whereas a bit to pause. It just shows how much of our communication is happening without us saying a single word.
Can okay sometimes mean I am not okay?
Definitely. It can be a subtle way of masking things when someone isn't really all right. Often, an okay delivered with a sigh or a certain flat tone is a clear signal that the person is actually feeling quite the opposite. It becomes a protective layer, allows us to keep up appearances, ready to share what's really happening.
Do you express happiness using okay?
Or genuinely happy, okay often comes out with a higher pitch, or even a little exclamation mark added to it in text. It stops being a neutral filler and becomes an enthusiastation, especially when paired with a bright, genuine smile.
Show anger or some?
Being okay can definitely carry a lot of frustration or depending on how it's delivered. It's that sharp clipped okay, where the word is cut off abruptly. It signals someone is finished with the conversation. It's a way to shut things down without conflict directly.
People use okay instead of explaining more.
Shorthand for when we are cognitively overloaded or simply double emotional bandwidth to we use it as a shortcut to signal presence without the handling of a full explanation, which saves energy for both the speaker and listener.
Does okay help avoid conflict?
In some ways, it acts as a pressure valve that lets sidestep a direct confrontation. By something, okay, we can signal that we've other person, which can be enough to detention, forcing us to agree or fully engage in argument. It's an efficient way to keep the peace. We just don't have the ever disagreement.
How is okay used in texting and chatting?
Mm, in texting, okay often morphs into prawn or those tiny differences change the entire vibe. A quick hey would come across as dismissive or cold, like you're rushing to end the chat. Adding an emoji or an extra letter can soften it significantly. It is fascinating how we use subtle brief abbreviation to manage the emotional tone of a whole conversation without ever needing to use a full sentence.
What it means okay and K.
Here's how I think about those variations. A single okay that is neutral and polite, while it sounds like you're trying to hurry them along in a tense situation. And there's K, which usually feels pretty blunt or just the word is nod and a quick cold shrug.
Isn't K rude?
Yeah, it can definitely feel that way. Since K-prods is so brief, it often lacks the nuance we usually rely on, which makes it easy for the recipient to interpret it as dismissive. Classic case where stripping away too much language creates a void that our emotions
How do
tend to fill with
emojis
negative
change the
assumptions.
meaning of okay?
A well-placed emoji acts as the emotional anchor or potentially ambiguous okay. As it not detached, warm, and supportive, effectively filling the gaps that tend. It's essentially a way of showing your tone through color and character. Message lands with the right amount of care.
Is okay important in
Glad you
online
feel like we've got a handle on the
communication?
nuances of okay. It's vital because it keeps the flow of digital conversation moving without requiring heavy effort. And such a fast-paced environment, it acts as a signal that keeps both parties connected and engaged without the need for lengthy replies.
If okay was absent, what would it be like?
In way to think about it, if you were to personify okay as a person, they would be incredibly reliable, low maintenance friend who's always there for you with that spotlight. They would be the one you call when you're overwhelmed, the one who listens without judging, just gives you that steady, calming nod. They wouldn't be the most dramatic or exciting person in the room, but they would be the absolute backbone of your social circle, the one who makes everything manageable, is present.
Can you act out different meaning of okay?
Sure, let's explore how it works and its weight entirely depending on the tone. If I say a bright, rising lilt, okay, like a cheerful, yes, I'm ready. Now, if I drag it out, okay, it suddenly skepticism, like, I'm not quite sure about your idea. Like, short with a flat drop, it's a clear signal finished or that I'm feeling annoyed. It really is incredible how much information we pack into just 2 syllables.
What is the funniest way you had okay?
Hey, still, or did you just need a moment to think about what we were just talking about? Right. Listen to someone and try to say it like a cartoon character, drawing out into a high-pitched, wobbly melody that sounded more like a siren. It was so absurdly dramatic that we both ended up laughing for minutes. Just goes to personality we can inject into such a mundane when we're in the mood. Sorry, I seem to have lost where we were with that story. Having quite a laugh about those dramatic to say, okay. Did you have another thought on how people use language to express?
Can okay be dramatic?
Oh, absolutely. Well-placed okay can completely change the tone of the scene. Think of it as the ultimate punctuation mark in a tense conversation, where it can signal either a surrender or a calm final stand. It's essentially a dramatic pause wrapped in
What
one small,
happened if we stop
unassuming
you?
word. I think it would make our digital interactions significantly more without that quick universal shorthand. We'd be forced for more deliberate phrases just to acknowledge one another, which may go down the page, add a layer of
तो आज का टास्क हम कंप्लीट हैं। मिलते हैं नए टास्क के साथ, तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़।